Good morning, fellow traders. Black Coffee Trader coming at you here on Thursday morning, day after tilt day. Let's go. I feel pretty good this morning. Mentally, I'm in a better space. I don't know, maybe I needed that tilt session to kind of reset the brain and kind of reboot the mental computer, if you will. But I think the summary that I have for the market right now is just one word: frustrating. It's just frustrating. There's no continuation. There's no follow through. I mean, you've got these little, single days or partial days where you kind of get a move, but we have just been in one big chop for a very, very, very long time. I mean, that's really all we've had for several months. It's just been a sideways market. So one thing that I realized that I overlooked yesterday and that I see again today now is yesterday we traded within the prior day's range. And I need to pay more attention to this. I've noticed this before. I notice it after the fact. I don't notice it until the day's over, and then I seem to forget about it until the next day, which is stupid. But when you're trading back within the previous day's range, there's a high probability of sideways action and non-continuation. And we've gotten that more frequently. And so that was yesterday. I mean, this is the Tuesday high right here. This is the Tuesday low. Here's yesterday's high. Here's yesterday's low. I mean, smack in the range from the prior day. So the expectation that we have a sideways in a nasty market, should have been there. I should have seen that, and I didn't. I was not paying attention. So yesterday afternoon, I realized that. I'm like, whoa, that was like, why wasn't I waiting? I was really looking for the low of day to break yesterday for downside or for it to hold for upside. Well, the hold for upside was not the right call. The hold for upside really should have been, okay, if we get upside, do we break the prior day high and then we look for the long? That's what I should have been looking for. So that was a mistake. The other thing is on the downside, I mean, I'm okay with taking a couple shots. I was just wrong. It didn't, there was basically look below and fails on ES. But the other thing could have been we could have just waited until we get a bigger move below, and then we try to find an entry at a lower point, which either of those two scenarios didn't happen, which really means that maybe the better thing yesterday would have been just to stay away. So that brings me full circle to where we are this morning, looking at the previous couple days lows and the previous couple days highs. And obviously, if we get back into this, I think I need to have an NTZ, a non-trade zone, or a no-trade area, NTA. I don't know whatever you want to call that, but an area that I just do not want to trade. And I think I need to really adhere to that. And so here we are. We bounced off the daily 200 on the NASDAQ. We also bounced off of this little level. This is these lows coming in from a couple of weeks ago. I've had this on my charts for a little while. We bounced off of that. And so the thing I'm looking at today is if we trade right back up into here, I think absolutely. It's got to be a no bueno. And I have to wait until we break these highs. And if we break these highs, then we look for longs. Whoops, that was an erratic arrow. But if we break these highs, then we look for longs. If we stay below the prior day low, I think maybe waiting until we break the 200 for further downside, because the 200 is a big, big moving average and can create difficulty. Obviously, in the overnight last night, that's where we held, right at the daily 200 and right at this level with these lows from a couple weeks ago, like we talked about. So I think the best long probably is a break above yesterday's highs. The best short is a break below the daily 200. So I think keeping it pretty simple, I think that's what I need to look at and look for on the NASDAQ. ES, it's quite the similar picture. It is very, very similar. I was really looking for these lows yesterday. Look at the last 2 days highs. This was the Tuesday or the Wednesday high. This was yesterday's high. Tuesday's low, yesterday's low. So obviously on ES, we very much were right within that range from the previous day. And that's something I should have been careful of and cautious of, and I missed that. So like we just talked about. So we're flirting with this again. The daily 200 sitting right here. What happened on ES? ES bounced off the daily 200. So you have a a very, very similar picture on ES and on NQ, on that daily 200 and on this level. And this level on ES, I'm not sure. It's not the same, quite the same scenario. This is more of a 4-hour level that I have marked. But we also have some lows coming in here, and you've got this overnight high, a pre-market high from Monday. Wait a minute. From Monday or Sunday night. And then you've got the daily 200 sitting right in here. So a lot of things going on. So I think that the picture is the same. I think longs have to be above PDH, yesterday's high of day. And then I think shorts have to be below the daily 200. And I think as long as we're within this area on ES, it's probably a no trade day. I really think I just need to stay away. The only other option would be a potential short below yesterday's low. The problem is it's a pretty short window into the daily 200. So I really think it's got to be, I mean, I'm doing this, as I'm going here. It's not like I pre-planned what I was going to say here. But I really think it has to be daily 200 and prior day high. That's what I've got to look at on ES and NQ. Those are my longs. There's my shorts. Anything in between, it's a watch, and we just stay away. I think that is the safer thing to do. And I think I need to be a lot more disciplined. I've been a little bit I've just not been as disciplined. And when you get inside of these zones, it tends to wreck you. And obviously quite a few of us went on tilt yesterday, as I saw in the comments. I was not the only person that went on tilt. I'm sorry. I hate when I haven't had a tilt session like that in a long time, but it happened. So anyway, move on. Here we go on the Dow Jones. We are sitting right at the daily 200 on the Dow. We're right at yesterday's low, and we're right at this 47,200 area. So there's a lot of things going on, and I do think if we break below that, we do have opportunity for downside on the Dow Jones. To the upside, when you look at yesterday's range, we did trade kind of below the prior day range a little bit. There was definitely more downside on the Dow Jones yesterday. So, right now, again, this market is just, we get a big sell-off, you get a pushback. You get a sell-off, you get a pushback. You get a sell-off, you get a pushback. You get more push. It's just, it's a very difficult market. I mean, it just is. So I think the better long really is a break above this area. I think if we break above the Tuesday high, you can definitely take a long above PDH. I mean, you're taking a long right above this. So there's a previous low, turning into, and you're reclaiming that low basically. So that could be a long. PDH and the Tuesday high could also be a nice long as well. And to the downside, I think if you break this 200, maybe you wait until you break this overnight low, and then we look at shorts. So let's draw a line here. I do think breaking the overnight low is the key, and then breaking PDH is probably where we need to look at. And anything in between here is probably going to have to be a no bueno. Russell, very similar to ES or to NQ. Goodness, very similar to the Dow Jones. Here we have the previous couple days highs. Actually, we've got a 3-day high sitting here to here. And then we've got yesterday's low. We've got the Tuesday low. The Monday low is all the way down here. So I think this is the area that we need to stay away from, is this area right in here. And so if again, here's the daily 200. All the indices are sitting just right around the daily 200, which is a little bit concerning in one sense because, does that mean that this is going to be a floor that holds, a support level that holds and pushes the market higher? If we do lose the daily 200 across the indices, we're probably really going to see downside, or we could see further downside. There's no probability in this market right now. So longs definitely above yesterday's high of day. You've got the daily 50 sitting here, but longs above here into the next level. I mean, this is going to be a shorter play. And then shorts, I think you could definitely take a short off the PDL here. This would be a pretty nice short below these levels. So that would be a potential look. And then you also have this gap open from Sunday night. that you are potentially breaking and could take a short there. But again, you're shorting into this 200. So a short on the Russell almost has to be taken somewhere in here so you've got bandwidth. Once you get below this gap open on Sunday night, you probably want to wait until you break the 200 for further downside there. So long above the PDH, short below PDL, below the Sunday open. That's what we're looking at, or a wait until we break the daily 200 if that occurs. So it definitely looks like we're in a day where if this market goes right up in this previous range, which it very well could, and if that's the case, we may just have a no trade day. So the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to slow this thing way down. After the tilt session yesterday, I'm going to trade accounts in 2x2 and be very, very strict, very strict with my rules, focused on getting some green on the charts, and if we do, we walk away for the day. So that's the plan for today. We will do our best to adhere to that plan, and I will do my best to give you an update tonight, and then you can check and see if we followed the rules. So thanks again for following along. Appreciate you all. Have a good trading day, and we'll catch up with you on the next one. Take care, and so long.